Chicago, like most big cities, has its fair share of unsolved crime. And in most of these cases, somebody saw or heard something. Somebody may have seen a suspicious person, a car driving away from the scene, or simply overheard somebody talking about the case. With your help, we can put these criminals behind bars where they belong. Here in Chicago, we have too many unsolved murders. We need your help. In these cases, the police department is only as strong as the citizens that get involved. Oftentimes, all the detectives need is a tip, a start. Somebody to call in and say, I saw something. Any little information that you know can be the impetus to solve the entire case. On tonight's episode, we'll be featuring Gregory Robinson. On March 13th, 2009, 15-year-old Gregory Robinson, a fun-loving kid, always had a smile on his face, was returning home from a high school basketball game with his cousins when he was tragically gunned down about a block from his house in the Morgan Park neighborhood. Here's his story.
Gregory was my firstborn.
My sister was in labor for 72 hours with Gregory. And I sat there with her for 72 hours. And he was just this perfect baby.
Anything that was going wrong with me, I could always count on Greg. I could look over and just, something that he would do, he would say anything to just like keep me happy.
From day one, he brought joy into our entire family.
Gregory loved to play basketball. So following behind his two cousins, this is what he wanted to do.
He was a good sports player, and I think he would have gone far. He was bubbly, he was loving, he was smart.
Gregory had 3 sisters that he was very protective of.
We would go downtown, go for walks at Buckingham Fountain. We just liked to be together as a family. It didn't matter where we were, what we were doing, as long as we were all together.
Gregory was always happy, always smiling, always kept everybody laughing. He was popular in the life of the family.
He was everything to everybody, but he and I had a bond that couldn't be broken. I don't care what anybody said, and I never in a million years thought that I would lose him so soon.
On March 13th, 2009, Gregory Robinson called his mom to see if she's going to be attending his basketball game that night.
I said, okay, well, I have to work. I can't come to the basketball game. And he goes, I love you. And then I rolled the window down and he said, Mommy, I love you. I said, I love you too.
Unfortunately, that was the last time the two of them would talk.
So I met them at the school and we went to the game in Hinsdale.
After the game ended, Gregory told his aunt and uncle he wanted to ride home with his 2 cousins and the small children.
We got in our car and Greg said, well, since I rode with you here, Auntie, I'm gonna ride back with Brittany and Brandon.
The 3rd car was my niece, my nephew, Gregory, and the 2 babies in the back seat.
So we got home and I parked my car and they rode past us.
When they got to his block, Gregory's aunt and uncle were able to park right in front of Gregory's house, but there wasn't a spot available for Gregory and his cousins to park, so they proceeded down the block and did a U-turn at the end of the block at 110th and Aberdeen.
And that's when the shots started.
2 unknown gunmen came out of nowhere and just started firing shots into the car.
All you heard was pow, 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 and it wouldn't stop.
Gregory, who was in the back seat, dove over the 2 young children to protect them from the shots.
And so when he heard the gunshots, his first instinct was to cover him.
The cousins were able to turn the car around and drive back towards Gregory's house and park the car where Gregory's aunt and uncle rushed over to the car because they heard the shots.
She and Brandon jumped out the car, and then my next instinct was to look to make sure that everybody in the back was fine.
When they opened the door, it was just blood everywhere.
My grandson had blood on him, and then eventually he started screaming. So we were trying to get them out the car so that we could see what was really going on with Greg. And he just looked up at me as to say, "I'm gonna be okay, Auntie. It's okay. It's okay." So I'm screaming to somebody to call 911. Please, somebody call 911.
An ambulance did show up. At that point, it looked like Gregory just maybe was grazed by the shots, and people were hopeful he was going to survive.
And on my way home from work, as soon as I get to the door, I get the phone call that Gregory had, they thought was like grazed in his arm. I got to the scene. They had Gregory in the ambulance, and they wouldn't let me in. So them not letting me in, I knew from there that something wasn't right.
Gregory was rushed to the hospital, and unfortunately he died from his injuries. Have you been in an accident? Have you been the victim of discrimination or had your rights violated? Have you been injured? If so, the lawyers at Hale Law would love to talk to you. We offer a free consultation. Call me, Andy Hale, 312-870-6926. 312-870-6926. I look forward to talking with you about your case. On March 13, 2009, Gregory Robinson, who was fun-loving, always a smile on his face, was returning home with his cousins from a high school basketball game. They were attempting to park the car when Gregory was tragically gunned down just a block from his house in the Morgan Park neighborhood. There was an AK-47 assault rifle that may have been used in the shooting, as well as a .40 caliber handgun. There were at least 40 shell casings found at the scene of the shooting. Gregory, who was in the back seat, dove over the two young children to protect them from the shots.
I would have expected Gregory to do that. That's something that I don't know. Gregory loved hard. He would do anything to protect his family.
We're in a bubble because we don't feel safe, not even standing outside. We can't stand outside on the porch without hearing a firework and everybody run in the house. This is a pain and a hurt that never goes away.
I'm devastated and disappointed because I don't have a clue as to who did it, and answers I don't have, then I'm crushed.
The police do not suspect Gregory was a target. The shooters may have been targeting somebody who knew the drivers of the car, but unfortunately Gregory was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Everything in her soul just empty. She didn't care about anything. She didn't care about anybody. Don't touch her. She didn't want anybody to be around her. It was a difficult time for her, but it was also a difficult time for me. But I knew that I had to be the stronger one because I knew that I had to be there for her.
It's changed tremendously. In my home, it's quiet. Nobody talks. Everybody shut down. The person who did this, you didn't only kill Greg, you killed our whole family. Greg's funeral had 4,000 people at it. The whole student body from Simeon didn't go to school that day and came to his funeral. My two little girls, they're able to cope, but still not understand.
Parents need to start being parents to their children and stop letting the streets raise their children. It'll come a time in life when your kids will be your friends, but right now it's not the time.
I think it's drawn us closer in some ways, but I have times where I shut down.
Gregory Robinson was actually the 28th Chicago public school student shot and killed in 2009. We've got to put an end to this violence, and we can only do it with the community's help.
If you know something, say something.
Anybody that has any information on the death of Gregory Paul Robinson III, come forward. Nobody is going to be angry with you. Nobody's going to be mad. It was 6 years ago, but for us, it seems like it was yesterday.
This is a case where the police have very little to go on, and we really need the community's help. What we do know is that there were 2 gunmen, and we also know that the weapons were an AK-47 and likely a .40 caliber handgun. So we're looking for somebody that may have seen something that night at the intersection of 110th and Aberdeen. The police suspect the gunmen were hiding near a dimly lit bike path right before the shooting.
Vengeance is not mine, it's the Lord's. So if you know that you did this, turn yourself in.
If you know something, say something.
If you have any information, please call the Chicago Police Department Area South and ask to talk to Detective Richard Sullivan at 312-747-8271. Please help us put a stop to these senseless killings. We've got to protect our communities, make our communities safe again.
So if anybody has any information on the death of Gregory Paul Robinson, please call.
Just say something. He was 14. Not a mother in this world should have to go through this.
Please help us bring justice to the family of Gregory Robinson. The cases you just watched remain unsolved, and we need your help. If you have any information on tonight's episode or any other cases, please give our detectives a call. We need our communities to come together so we can take back our streets and make our neighborhoods a safer place.